let's do this. We're putting on the Hedwig socks because we're going to Hogwarts. I'm sure you guys have heard about this. If not, you're not on the book Twitter, and you should be. The Magical Readathon this year is themed after the owls. There's an entire huge pamphlet. It's got like career counseling guidance, and you can take your owls so that in August you can become an R, a librarian, a potions master. You can choose your own Harry Potter career, and I'm here for it. The readathon is for the entire month of April, and I'll link all of the important things down below because clearly this just becomes my April TBR. The guide for this readathon, guys, it looks like an actual Harry Potter prop. It looks like if I walked into the guidance counselor at Hogwarts or like their career center, this is what they would hand me. Just a huge shout out to the book roast who created this. The time and energy and just attention to detail that she has put into this readathon is amazing. Like, this is fantastic. So let's go ahead and get started. I have all of my revision topics and their relevant prompts printed out. So to pass, you just need to read one book from that topic prompt. I'm gonna try to get all of them, but I don't know if that's gonna work for me. The prompts are alphabetical by subject name, and so we start with ancient runes. For that, I'm actually already done with the prompt. The first thing I finished this month was a retelling, and that is Winter of the Witch. This is by Catherine Arden, and guys, I am so in love. Like, my lady crush on Catherine Arden, it's sticking around. It is hardcore. So I will have a review of that particular book up hopefully pretty soon here. So let's go ahead to Arithmancy then. Arithmancy's prompt is work written by more than one author. So to fulfill my Arithmancy requirement, I have Giants at the End of the World. This is actually a showcase of Finnish Weird, that's the subtitle. This anthology was actually given to everyone who attended Worldcon 75 in Finland 2 years ago, so it's been sitting on my shelf for a long time. If you're wondering what New Weird is, it's kind of a Jeff Vandermeer, China Mieville kind of story. It takes a lot of speculative fiction stuff to kind of a surrealist level. So I'm interested to see what this is, especially since a lot of these are translated works. That's super exciting. The next subject I'm sitting is astronomy, and so for that you need a book with star in the title. This actually took me a long time to figure out, which is surprising, but for this prompt I'm going to read The Stars, My Destination. That is actually going to be on audiobook for me, and it's a classic that I haven't picked up yet, so I'm actually kind of excited to read it. I know it's referenced quite a bit, and it's like a 1940s release, so hopefully that gives me a little bit better context for when I'm reading in the future. The next subject is Care of Magical Creatures, and the prompt for that is to choose a book with a land animal on the cover. I actually was going to originally choose a different book, but I recently did a video called 10 Books That Have Been on My TBR for Too Long, and I realized that this book, The Foxwoman by Keith Johnson, actually has a fox on the cover, so it perfectly fulfills that. And actually, a bunch of the books that I'm going to be reading were from that video. So that's really exciting and will knock off some books that have been on my TBR, well, for way too long. The next prompt is for Charms class, and I really like this prompt. It's a callback to the books in just one of my favorite moments, which is when the Weasley twins cross the age line. So pick a book that is for adults. For this one, I'm actually already done. I have picked up Saga Volume 9, and if you know anything about this series, it is very adult. This is a graphic novel series that has been nominated for multiple Hugos. The storyline is a lot of fun and really engaging, and the artwork is fantastic. So I highly suggest that you read this, and I'm glad it fulfilled that role. The Defense Against the Dark Arts prompt is Reducto, or to choose a book with on a title that starts with R. And for this, I'm choosing The Raven Tower by Anne Leckie. I know a couple of people are doing this one, and so it'll be fun, I think, to read along with them. And this is one that's been on my list because I love Anne Leckie, and honestly, she's great. I loved her Imperial Raj series. I can never say it. And this is her first foray into fantasy, so. Divination is, of course, to choose a book set in the future, and so I'm going with Snow Crash. I'm actually buddy reading Snow Crash with my friend KJ over on Twitter, and so I'm really looking forward to it. It's one of those few Stevenson books that I haven't read, and it's actually really short. If you've read any of Stevenson's stuff, you know he's a big fan of the like 1,000-page novel. And so I'm really excited to read this, especially since it's so well loved. The herbology prompt is to choose a book that has plants on the cover. And so for that, I'm going with The Forgotten Beasts of Eld. The background is all sorts of viney beautifulness. This is a fantasy masterworks, which is the same line, or I guess a sister line of the science fiction masterworks series that's done by Glance. And this is by Patricia McKillop, who I haven't read, but who I've been meaning to. The History of Magic prompt is to choose a book that was published more than 10 years ago, and a number of the books on my list already fulfill that, but I'm going to be buddy reading He, She, and It by Marge Piercy with Rachel to fulfill this particular challenge. I'm really a big fan of the Marge Piercy works that I've read so far, and for this prompt I'm going to be reading Bruja Born. It's the second book in the Brooklyn Brujas series by Zoraida Cordova, and it's kind of a teen Latina charmed. And it was a lot of fun to read the first one. I've had my hands on the second for quite a while now as an ARC, and I haven't gotten around to reading it. So this will give me a good reason to actually catch up on that. The last prompt is Transfiguration, and for this you need to read a book that either has sprayed edges or it has a red cover. I don't actually own any books right now that are on my TBR list that have sprayed edges. I think the last book I read with sprayed edges was Six of Crows, probably, by Leigh Bardugo, which I quite enjoyed. So we have to go with red covers, and I actually have 3 options for this. That is because this is going to be my patron pick for the month. The options I have are China Mountain Zhang, Vengeful, and then Molly Gloss's Outside the Gates. So I'm looking forward to finding out which one of these I get to read to remind me to stay in the spirit of the readathon. I got these adorable little super cheaty Harry Potter creature bookmarks. There's a Doxy and a Thestral. We've got a Mandrake. We've got a Hippogriff. They're adorable. I never use bookmarks like these. I almost always end up using like a receipt or a card. But if I don't use them now, I will find a use for them later. They're just kind of, they were too cute to pass up when I was in the line. So there you have it. I am hoping to fulfill all of the Owls requirements so I can decide later what newts to choose. Honestly, I'm thinking about herbology, maybe librarian, but also maybe potions master. I haven't decided, and so I kind of just, I'm trying to give myself as many options as possible, but we'll see where it goes. So there you guys have it. That's what I am reading for my Owls. I'm hoping to complete them all, but we're going to have to see. I couldn't really decide what kind of a career I wanted, if I wanted to be an R or a librarian or an herbologist. Whichever way it goes, I'm kind of trying to stay as open for as many options as possible, especially since August is going to be crazy. That's Worldcon month. So let me know if you guys are participating in the readathon. Let's be Twitter friends so that we can do all of the updates with one another. And if you want to help me out, support this channel, you can go ahead and follow me over on Instagram too. My handle is Brie Reads Books, as of course you might imagine. I hope you all have a fantastic reading week. Talk to you later.